Hi everyone, welcome back to As We Speak. So, unfortunately, it happened. My 13-year-old got COVID. I have been inundated with so many calls from family, friends, and acquaintances alike. More calls, I have to say, since the launch of WhatsApp, that while I don't release too many personal episodes, I felt that it was very important to talk about this. So what happened? Well, about 3 weeks ago, my son seemed to have a very slight cough. The cough progressed into a cold. The cold worsened, and on the weekend, he seemed warm. Now, as a family, for basic colds and coughs, I go to my very trusted homeopath who checked him out and suggested that we do a COVID test because he was a bit warm. My son took his COVID test on Friday. He started isolating on a Friday. By the Saturday, 24 hours later, his fever had pretty much disappeared without any second or third Panadol. Mind you, he had a fever of 38 to 38.1 degrees. Normally, we do not even medicate at that temperature as parents. So his fever had gone. His cold was already much better. But lo and behold, he had tested positive. So what did we have to do next? As per DHA protocol, the DHA is the Dubai Health Authority. You have to call them, you have to inform them that someone in the family has tested positive, and then they give you follow-up instructions. My son Kanhai had to isolate in his room for 14 days. Isolate meaning he has to stay in his room for 14 days away from the rest of the household, away from the rest of the family, while the rest of us had to quarantine at home for 14 days, meaning that his younger sibling, my younger son, could not go to school for 14 days, and my husband and I could not go about any aspect of our normal lives for 14 days, and we had to stay at home, basically. Of course, I had to inform the school and they did what they had to do. I had to inform all the different activities that my children were physically attending to let them know that, my son had caught COVID. And while I finished doing all that, I have to say the Dubai Health Authority was extremely thorough in the way it was carrying out its investigation. For the first few days, we received a lot of calls from them, asking us to update our COVID apps, asking us, about our son, his symptoms, where he went to school, what activities he did. The DHA doctors even called us. They even called my son to talk to him, ask him how he was feeling. Basically, over those 14 days, we had to update them if we had any symptoms or if his condition worsened. At the end of my son's 14-day isolation, I had to call them, I had to inform them that he was symptom-free, answer some questions about his health, and he was finally given the green light to live a normal life, and he was supposed to receive what is called a de-isolation certificate required to go back to school. How did he get it? So many of you have asked me this question. Guys, the honest truth is I don't know where he got it from. None of us were really in direct contact with anyone that we knew who had tested positive. But here's the thing. We are living in pandemic times. While you can be as safe and responsible as possible, when you get out of your house, there is a risk, however small, of catching COVID. Now, as a family post-lockdown, we have tried to live as safe and responsible a normal life as possible. We have traveled abroad. Doesn't it feel strange to be here like this? But it's all good.
We have to deal with it.
Yep. My 13-year-old plays cricket, he plays basketball, and he does some other activities. So honestly, he really could have gotten this virus from anywhere. Many have asked me, will he go back to school? Will he resume his physical activities? 100%. He has started school, and in time, even though he's absolutely fine, when I feel comfortable, I will send him back for his sporting activities, because this virus is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and we have to eventually start living our lives. Also, there is a silver lining in that now that he got the COVID, hopefully for the next few months, he will be resistant to it. Of course, we don't know, but there is a possibility that for the next few months, there is a very slight chance of him catching it again. How was this experience for us as a family? Well, guys, firstly, I'm just so thankful that his symptoms were so mild. I'm also so thankful that we were all okay throughout these 2 weeks. I think the experience was just more mentally stressful, because when you're giving everyone else their space, it's very hard for you to find your own headspace in terms of the fact that you're dealing with a lockdown, a COVID lockdown, when everything else has gone back to normal. Also, it's not easy to just leave a tray of food in your son's room and leave him to eat it. It's worrying to check the temperature every morning with a mask and hoping that there's no symptoms for that day. You know, you're literally counting down days, making sure, okay, I hope he's okay, I hope he's okay. And it's hard to keep a younger, idolizing sibling away from his brother. I think at the end of the 14 days, all we wanted to do was really just hug each other. My son was okay. From day one, he could do his online learning thanks to all the amazing systems set up by the school. And while I'm not a big fan of screen time, I'm just so happy that and thankful. And believe me, screen time is a huge discussion between me and my teen. But in this instance, I am very thankful that he had his friends to get him through what could have been a very lonely and frightening isolation period. The fact of the matter is, this illness is new. And when it presents itself so mildly in someone in your family, and you've read so many horror stories, you can't help but think, you know, what's going on inside? What's impacted inside? So for now, I take solace in the fact that what the doctors and experts say is correct. When children get COVID, mostly when they don't have underlying problems, the symptoms are truly very mild. Guys, for those of you who have had to deal with this disease, my heart goes out to you. I wish you all the very best. And I hope that you stay well and you get well soon. For those of you who have never had to have this experience, I hope that you never do have this experience. I wish you all the best in health. Keep building up that immunity. Take a lot of steam inhalation. I really feel that that really helps. Eat well, sleep well, stay safe, stay responsible, and wear your mask. Thanks for watching. See you next week.